Hey there, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the 704 High School Highlight Podcast. My name is Jeff Taylor. I'm the sports director here at Bahakel Sports. Glad to have you along. Thanks for following along as we've introduced you week in and week out to some of the most interesting characters in high school sports around here, as well as we've talked to some college players and a couple of professionals. So thanks for joining us today. And alongside me here, I have Ryan Bloomingburg. And Ryan's a pretty special guest for me. I had the opportunity to coach him back in the Pop Warner days out at Matthews, the Mara Colts. And first of all, thanks.
Of course.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So, wrapping up your senior year.
Yes, sir.
How's that been for you?
It's been a wild senior year, really. It's just a lot of things have happened this year, and it's a good thing for me.
Cool. So let's go back. Let's talk about your not how good your coach was growing up in Pop Warner, but let's just talk about your days in Pop Warner, and not only that, but baseball also. How cool were those days? So
much fun. It's just like back then you get to play baseball and football. You have nothing to worry about. You don't got to worry about coaches. You don't got to worry about grades. You just get to go out there and just have fun.
So obviously you progressed very well, and then of course off to Providence High School.
Yes, sir.
And I know you've had a journey there, and one of the coolest things, I guess, was junior year for baseball. You guys were one of the best in the state, winning the championship in the 4A, as well as one of the best in the country.
Yes, sir.
Talk to me a little bit about that season.
That was just like a fever dream. It's just like, it felt like it went by way too quickly. But in the moment, it was so much fun. It's just like the memories I made with everybody and like the practices, they were just something that you just couldn't wish for.
So I know in terms of Providence High School, they have one of the best in Coach Ignite.
Yeah.
Can you talk to me a little bit about him, his philosophy, his style of coaching, and just what he meant to you as a coach, and what he meant to you this year too?
He's a great guy. He's like another father figure to me, really. And he has a saying where it says, don't let into the rat poison. And the rat poison is the outside noise. And it's just like, he's a big ego of like not bragging about anything and just being a good guy. And I really respect that because I learned that. Because my freshman and sophomore year, I was all about ego, all about the fame and all of that.
Look at me, I'm the man.
Yeah. But my junior and senior year, he really taught me to be like the man to this. Nobody cares about the cameras. They only care about the play. And that's really what I got off of him as a man.
Cool. So early on in high school, you played both football and baseball.
Yes, sir.
And then I guess your junior year, it was all baseball.
Yes, sir.
Was there a reason behind that? Did you just feel like you wanted to put more time into it, or was there just kind of a push toward it? Or can you take me a little bit through that thought process?
It was like a family thing, but also I knew that we had a goal our junior year for baseball, and I knew we had a really good team, and I knew we could probably go far. And I felt like if I stuck with that I could get my full out, and I could start and just be the man that they needed for that position. Really.
So when your senior year hit, you went back and played football.
Yes,
so you did football and baseball back to your senior year. Was that just to go back and enjoy football again?
Yeah, it really was, and I just missed all my guys.
Right.
Like Luke, I grew up with him, really, and I played football with him since we were like 8, and like we would always go back and forth just as kids, and that's my guy, really. I love Luke so much.
Talking about Luke Bailey, who played wide receiver at Providence. Split end, great kid, yeah. I actually have to coach him too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, how cool is that though? Like, I guess when I think about it, you know, we think about AK and we think about Weddington and we think about, you know, Providence and all the schools around here. The journey of being able to see these guys grow as players, whether you played with them in Pop Warner or you played against them, to see all those guys kind of grow has got to be kind of cool.
Yeah, it's really cool because, yeah, I know AK, Providence.
I know, and people who watch podcasts know when I talk about AK.
It's okay, but my guys over there, like Kyler Watson.
Yep.
Nate Dardane, Josh Switzer.
Yep, Josh was on here, yep.
All those guys, they just gotten so much bigger and better in life. It's just, I'm happy for them.
I always thought I was a big guy until I get back around you guys, and I'm like, no, maybe not. So it's cool, yeah. I mean, it's great to see that journey. As you now are, 2 weeks away from, I guess, graduation.
Yes, sir.
Just talk to me about high school a little bit and what that journey's been like for you in terms of the ups and downs, the highs and lows. And do you look back at it and go, wow, you know, what a crazy 4 years?
Most definitely. like, I don't want to say that I had a, like, wild story, but I had a really wild up and down in my high school career because obviously it's state championship, but I also had a lot of downs that nobody really knows about. But I have my dad, and he just pushed me through everything. He was just like, don't worry about it. Just work on the goal, graduate. And I always listened to him. And basically, throughout my high school career, it was a wild one because my freshman and sophomore year, I wasn't the greatest student. And then junior year came, and then Coach Ignite got on me with grades. And
I can see Coach Ignite getting on a few people.
And he taught me to be educated and that I need education before sports. And that's what really got me through junior year. And then senior year, it was just that graduation. I had to get there.
See the finish line.
Yeah, I had to get the finish line. And I'm just glad I'm leaving Providence. It taught me a lesson, but I'm just glad I'm ready to leave that place.
It is a good school. And, and you think about it, too. You mentioned Coach Ignite. I know Coach Ward, too.
Yeah.
And what he's done with the football program. People may not put Providence up there with the Butlers and the Independents and stuff. Yeah. But the program that he's developed there, I think he has certainly taken it to the next level.
Yeah. My freshman year is, I think, when it was his first varsity coaching. And we basically grew up with him since our freshman year, so it's been really fun with him. We've definitely gotten close. That senior class for football has definitely gotten close with them.
Right. Yeah, and so they've done a lot. So you mentioned your dad. And then, I know you got your mom and you got Patrick and stuff like that, and I know the family real well. Yeah. I know what family means. As I coached you in Pop Warner and stuff, what family meant. Yeah. What is your crew meant to you? Your mom, your dad, your brother?
They meant everything to me. They see me go through everything, all the struggles, and I definitely had my brother there. Like he gave me past experience of what he used to do, and then he taught me to do the better thing. And I definitely learned from my brother's mistakes too. And my mom, she's my rock. She makes me smile when I need to smile.
Right.
And she feeds me. My dad feeds me. They do everything for me. And also my dad, he definitely taught me to be like a bigger person for people. Right. Like with your son. Right. During Pop Warner years. Right. I always felt like I needed to be a bigger man for him. I always looked out for him. Right. And that definitely helped me out.
I know. And so, and I know, cool, it's like to have parents that are there all the time. I mean, I know anytime I was going to a game, I was going to run into the Bloomingburg crowd at some point. So, and you know how I feel about them. Great family. Talk about your brother a little bit in terms of, because I know that, he had his moments at Providence, and then, he went off to college at App State or whatever. Y'all growing up, competitive growing up, fighting each other growing up, or has it gotten, let me ask you this, has it gotten to another level now? Because I know, like with my brother and I, in our teenage years and stuff, we would get competitive. Yeah. And we'd battle it out or whatever. But as we grew, so did our relationship. Yeah. Have you seen that shift?
Most definitely, because when we were younger, I probably still have scars on my body from him when we would just talk trash. Even with video games, we had,
no, I know. I know.
Competitive. And Patrick, he's just, I don't know. We always had that relationship where, like, if somebody did something to the other, like, we would be there for each other. Right. And, like, he's the best figure for me. And also, he had to put that bunt down his playoff season his senior year, but he never did. And that's what we still talk trash about, because I put the bunt down, and he never did.
He never did. So, yeah, talk to me a little bit about, in terms of, to play, football, and go back to your, your earlier years, your junior year, and then your senior, well, maybe not your senior, but your freshman and sophomore year. To play two sports, that's a lot of time. Yeah. A lot of commitment and stuff like that. And even playing one sport nowadays, we can get into that being, a lot of commitment stuff. How tough is it? I mean, for people out there who maybe don't know any, it's different when we grew up, your parents and I, or whatever, but to just get that schedule and to keep it all together, how tough is it?
Freshman year, it was really hard. Like, going from 8th grade just to having fun and just doing all that to, like, serious to, like, you got to be there. You got to be at the workouts. You got to be at running. You got to be at everything. It was really a wild experience. But my brother, I always came to him, and he told me to just, it's fine. Everything works out. Like, you're going to be bigger than what you think you're going to be. And, like, that really helped me, too. And, like, with Providence, too, like, the schooling, like, obviously that's known around town that, like, it's hard, but, like, it really just put me into a space where I just had to get through everything.
Right. And they're just trying to you know.
Yeah, make me a better
Right,
college.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So, talk to me a little bit now about, you know, you get done with, you know, baseball your senior year, and now you're still playing.
Yes, sir.
What are you doing now? What's that schedule like?
I have travel baseball, and a couple of the Providence guys are on that, and hopefully I have a couple JUCOs looking for me for future reference, and I feel like I couldn't leave the sport. Like after that senior year, it's just I found the love, and like I would find myself in the cages at nighttime, like putting in the extra work and just doing everything, and I just realized like if I'm doing all this work, I got to put it up to something.
Right. So, I had a chance to talk with John Smoltz from the Atlanta Braves back in the day, the Hall of Famer, and he said something very interesting. He was in Charlotte and he was speaking, but he said this because somebody asked, "What advice would you give Little League teams nowadays?" And I was really stunned to hear his answer, because his answer was, "Baseball is not a year-round sport.
Yeah.
Like, take it easy. It's elementary. You know, it's Little League kids, and I guess we're talking elementary kids, maybe not middle school, high school." Would you kind of agree with that statement? I mean, listen, and this is not, everybody chill, this is not a bad thing, but, you know, we'll drive by Mara, and it's 24/7, 7 days a week, 365 days a year.
Yeah.
You know, I see the value in both.
Yeah.
Is it a bad thing, you know, when you commit to something? And my idea is when you're elementary, let's figure out where your gifts are.
Yeah,
But high school, so what are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts on that is if the elementary kids, like if the younger kids really took baseball serious, because I know like when you're younger, you just want to have fun and playing it.
Right.
You definitely have you definitely get a bad mindset. Like you can't have a long-term memory with baseball. Like as a hitter, you might go 0-3 for a night, and then the next day be like, oh, just scratch that off. It's just, you're fine.
Right.
It's an 0-0 count. You're ready to go.
Right.
But as you get older, you start to realize you got to look at the stats for colleges and everything, and that's what really.
So there's a point in time.
Yeah, there's a point in time
that goes, okay.
But I feel like for elementary kids, I don't feel like they need to worry about that much. But the middle school and high school kids definitely need to.
Yeah, you know, and I want to ask you this because you're a senior in high school, and I've talked to pretty much everybody who's been on the podcast so far, especially from high school. The transfer portal for kids in college.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Me either.
I never have liked it because, to me, it's taking away the opportunities for kids who have worked hard and who need a chance. Your thoughts on the transfer portal?
I know a couple of guys that are in the transfer portal, and they've already left 2 colleges, and they already are at their 3rd, and it's just like, I just don't know how they get that, because they have college experience. I guess that's why they get more offers, and that just means that college coaches can't look down on high school kids. And it's just, I don't know.
Because I know at the end of the day, I mean, there are high school kids who aren't getting the chance.
Yeah, no.
Who just aren't getting a chance, or getting looked over. And I mean, I've seen kids at Providence. I've seen kids at AK, Huff, the list, Mallard Creek. The list goes on and on. Where you're thinking, okay, these guys are going to get a full ride.
Yeah.
And next thing you know,
They're gone.
that you know that it's just not there. And at the end of the day, I think what's to me it kind of takes away the purity of sports, if that makes sense, or why we do sports.
Yeah, the one thing that annoys me too is like the redshirt seniors and like the 26-year. Like I think I saw in basketball that there's like a 26-year-old senior,
Right.
like 6th year playing right now. I'm like,
Was it in Virginia? Maybe. I think I know what you're talking about. And
Yeah.
you see those 5 and 6, and you're like,
Yeah, I'm like, what's going on?
no, I get that. Now you're not maybe involved with this much. But let me ask you this too, because I've talked to kids about this too. The NIL.
Yeah.
Now, well, Carolina had passed it, but then they came back and said no.
Yeah.
But the NIL deal, another thing too, it's like, I guess I get it for colleges, you know, but now we're talking about high school kids getting NIL deals. What are your thoughts? I mean, because here's the deal.
No,
you're an athlete, and I mean, you know,
I
and you know, I get some people who are like, okay, this, you know, I've worked hard to get here.
Well, my thoughts on NIL. So you know Jackson Deavy, right?
Right.
I always joked around with him, being like, "Oh, what NIL deal you're gonna get this week?" And we always joked around with it. And then I actually like started to think about it. I'm like, a high school kid could really have like an NIL deal, and they can get paid a certain amount of money, because I already know the amount that Deavy's getting, like could be getting paid out of high school.
Right.
And it's wild because like they don't have to do any more work. Like when they don't have to do anything anymore, and they just get money for just.
And the question is then, Ryan, do people level off? Like, or I mean, listen, high schoolers were not completely developed yet.
Yeah.
But like, how big does your head get? And
that definitely makes a big ego in your head too. That definitely messes up your playing too. Just with that mindset of going into a game with everybody on your back, feeling like, oh, he has an NIL deal.
Right.
Oh, he has all the eyes on him.
And if you think about it, at the end of the day, I mean, if we're thinking high schoolers getting NIL, when I talk about taking away the purity of the sport, it just, you're really losing it. Yeah. You're really losing it. Cool. So let me ask you this, and we talk about the purity of the sport. For me, there's nothing like high school sports. Nothing like it. And for me,
the atmosphere is insane.
For me, like, I know when I played, in high school, and then I officiated, to me, and whether it's baseball, for me, it was football, but for me, walking out on that field on a Friday night in the fall, nothing like it.
Nothing like
baseball, that fresh cut grass in the spring, and you're out there with the ball hitting the leather. Can you just talk to me a little bit about, are we right?
Yeah, football, those Friday nights, nobody just... that's why I came back to it my senior year. I just missed it. It's just like those Friday nights, you know all your friends are in the stands. You know they're all cheering on you. You know you're going to get to see them after the game. And you know that you get to put on a show for everybody. And then with baseball, those playoff games, we had up to, I don't know, but like a good amount, like 500 people or something like that, like 1,000. And it just filled up the whole crowd. Like the whole scenery was just filled with people. And that made the game better. It's just, you couldn't mess up.
I am amazed. Like, I remember, I think I went to one Providence game. I should have gone to a lot more, actually, but I went to one or whatever. And I just remember going to that stadium and going, okay, this is like a high school stadium.
Yeah.
And it was kind of impressive. Football or baseball? Baseball?
I get this question all the time. I just love hitting people. And it's just, like, for football, I just love hitting people. But, like, I feel like my passion is with baseball. But I really love football, too. It's just hard to choose which. But I feel like I'm better off in baseball than football.
So when you think about future plans, if now that you're at this point of, getting out of high school and stuff, would baseball be the sole feature?
Yes, sir.
Like if I'm going to try to sell myself, this is where I'm going?
Yes, sir.
What is the process like now when you say you might go to camps? Do you have to be invited to camps? Can you just go to camps?
You can definitely go to camps, but you also get individual invites too. And also the route too is your high school coach just talking out to coaches to tell them to come to your travel games and just showcase your talent to both of them. And you also can send your film in to all the coaches.
Got it. Now, does Coach Ignite coach your travel team?
No, sir, but our head coach is our assistant coach at Providence.
Okay.
It's Ryan Magnum.
Okay. So what does that entail in terms of, let's go back to that for just a second, like the travel team. All over the country? How long does it last? Or is it mainly here in the Carolinas, or how does that work?
It's just mainly here in the Carolinas. And it's just a fun league. And it's just being with the guys. That's pretty much it, too. So
I know you won a state championship in baseball. But in your baseball career, take that out of the picture. Favorite moment? Maybe is there one moment that kind of like defined Ryan Bloomingburg?
My greatest moment is probably, I have two. It's Huff, my senior year, and I put down the game-winning bunt.
Okay.
It was an air throw by the pitcher, and
Patrick wouldn't bunt, right?
Patrick would never bunt. And a guy was on second, and they threw an error, and he scored for him, and we went to home. And that was a really big moment in my life. But also, my sophomore year against South Mech, that was the rowdiest game, probably. And I was on JV, and it was just so many people came, and we just had a rivalry that we didn't even know happened. But it was definitely caused by problems that South Mech did, but it's all right.
And baseball is now football to me. Before I ask that question, maybe one of the biggest football moments.
Definitely one of the big football moments is not even big, but Mara. I had a moment where I don't like to say it, but I hit a kid, and he definitely fell to the ground for a couple of seconds. And high school football, probably my biggest moment was definitely that AK game. Even though we lost, I almost had a kick return.
Right, I remember that one.
And I just needed to get my feet quicker, but
I knew, like, I knew from, you know, and it's okay to say, you know, like, I knew from, you know, coaching your brother, I knew when I had another Bloomingburg, I'm like, okay, I got a stud here. I got somebody who, yeah, would hit. And just very athletic. It's been cool. So, final question for you, really. So we talk about baseball. Providence, who is the, to me, football, it's AK.
yeah.
To me, it's, I would say, is that what you would think? Biggest rivalry is AK in football?
Yeah.
Or is that across the board, or is there a different one for baseball, really?
For baseball,
Or is everybody just so after Providence that they all, you know what I'm saying?
everybody, every single game, they're always coming for our necks. They're always, because they know we're a top team, and we always get everybody's best of their game. And for baseball, I would say definitely AK, but also a game that we never played, really, Myers Park. Like, I really wanted that game to happen, but other than that, probably Catholic.
Oh, Catholic.
Yeah.
Okay. I remember some football games against Catholic, too, that were kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Cool. Ryan Bloomberg, thanks for your time, partner.
Of course.
Best of luck moving forward, man. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks for joining us for this episode of the 704 High School Highlight Podcast. As always, make sure you subscribe. You can check this out wherever you watch or listen to your podcast. Make sure you subscribe, comment. We'd love to interact. And until next time, have a great day.